Satcom 2 is what feeds YouTube, correct? Wah, 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 wah. Oh! Ba, 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 ba. Mr. Popey, I'll be in the on-air channel whenever you would like to, you know.
Oh, hello.
Hello! I'm gonna jump down to on-air, and then whenever you wanna, we can do okay? I got everything working now.
I'm coming. I'm coming.
Right. Oh, hello, everybody. Hello, hello.
Hello, hello, hello.
Hello. Hello.
Pip, pip. Yes. Ram, this is Ron Jenkins, as always, because it's YouTube safe for me. I have it licensed. I would be probably playing other songs, but then we wouldn't be able to stream to YouTube. Well, I had a little, you know, the thing is with the DigitalOcean is when you just keep adding more and more droplets, you eventually, that's a challenge, Popey. That is a challenge, because if I open up Telegram on my machine that I have on the stream, it ruins my music.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, you can paste that link anywhere you like.
Do you want to PM me in the... Oh, I could do that too. Well, that's an idea. Okay, I'll do that. Excuse me. Yeah, so we keep setting up more and more droplets, so like the amount of money I used to be paying on my DigitalOcean account, which was more than enough, is no longer more than enough. I couldn't start Satcom 2. It was no good. I had to... Oh, geez, I'm not even in the production chat. Well, there's that. All right. Okay. All right. Okay, I think I've got it. I think I got the whole URL. Yes. Boy, that's so that's so easy. There's hardly anything to test. That's oh well, except for how about we test the fact that my screen isn't working on the Wirecast machine. We could test that real quick.
Also, you can type in that box.
Well, you know what I have to do, right? Is I have to do an LS, obviously. Well, you know, Wirecast. I didn't want my screen anyways, so screw you, Wirecast, and your non-screen grabbing ways. This is what you get in Wirecast if you reboot the machine connected to the Wirecast machine and not the Wirecast machine. Also, you get a blank. Actually, it still works. It's just the interlacing stops working. So you just have to turn off interlacing. And the moment before you even apply the setting, you just turn off interlacing and the video starts working again. I don't know why. I actually don't even bother learning. Whoa there.
Sorry, we were both typing at the same time.
I like it. That's awesome. Whoa, get my S there.
Now.
There, get my S. Interesting. So it doesn't take up the whole browser window, huh?
So I've just got a window that's like 80 by 25. So I don't know if I make it bigger, will it misses? If I do this, I've just made the window bigger. I don't know if that's made any difference.
Oh, interesting.
Should I make it wider?
Yeah, why not?
There you go. It's now wider. Is that wider?
Yep. Yeah, it actually looks pretty good.
This is actually a DigitalOcean droplet.
I see that 138 address there. I see. You were worried I was gonna get in there and hack your machine. I see how it is. You thought I was gonna. You thought I was gonna hack, sir. You. I probably was. I was probably gonna somehow, while in the few minutes we were installed, create a root, install Arch, and then reboot your machine.
It could happen.
So what are we on right here then? Is this a?
Do ls again. There's a new directory there.
Yeah,
the console
yeah,
directory.
yeah.
Go in there, and there's a YAML file. And you can see that's how easy it is to create a snap. There you go.
Yeah.
That's the config that was used to make that snap that makes this work.
Wow. So part of the magic that's made easy is they've put it in a really easy to distribute tarball that works on just about every distro. They must have statically linked libraries and whatnot.
It's a Go binary. And Go binaries are just like stupidly easy to do this.
Gotcha.
With.
Interesting. I remember reading that was. Yeah. Hello, Mr. Sipes.
Hey, how's it going?
Always
Hey,
well.
Ryan.
Hello. Yeah, that's great, Popey. That is so sweet. Of course, as soon as we posted that show, I saw comments like, "Oh, this is just asking for trouble." Well, you're gonna get hacked now. You're gonna get hacked the second you turn that on.
Hey, so Ryan, do you want to send me some of those GPU machines to, like, I don't know, review or something?
do some Bitcoin hashing on?
Say what?
Yeah.
What? I'm sure
Yeah, you know
Popey's
how
all
I
about
love the
that.
Bitcoin.
Yeah. Oh, I already got it up. Come on, Ryan. You don't think I come prepared to class? I'm already prepared to go. Shoot. I wouldn't say I do my homework, but I almost do my homework. Almost.
Well, at least some journalists do.
Heyo. I have a bag full of peanut butter M&Ms that if I am not careful with, will put me in a mad sugar rush. Like my young kids. This was one of my favorite birthday gifts right here. Actually, you know what I got that's a really interesting. I wonder if anybody in the mumble room has any experience with any of this crap. I got one of these Logitech Harmony Hub. My dad got
away with it, but it can't be at the beginning or the end of the sentence.
Yeah.
And when she's talking about it, she calls it Lexi.
Oh, that's good. I have noticed that my kids have adopted the A word. They say the A word, which is funny because that could mean other things, but to them it means Alexa. You know what I mean? It means.
Wouldn't it be cool if Amazon had thought of this beforehand and it called it a different name than Alexa?
Well, I mean, how common is that
because
name?
I had the most fun with this though because I successfully trolled a friend of mine by giving him an Echo Dot, and his wife's name is Alexa.
No. No.
That's awesome. Wow.
No. What are the chances? I didn't think it was that common of a name.
No, neither did I. But as soon as I was like, hang on a minute, and he's also called Martin. I was like, Martin's wife is called Alexa. This is too much fun.
That's incredible. Awesome. Whoa, Wes. Whoa. What do we have here? Oat maple hard cider. I don't even know what to do with that right now. A Seattle cider. Oh my gosh. You know, yes, I know they changed it to computer, but now I kind of feel like I've trained my brain around the A word. Mm-hmm. So I'm not ready to switch, even though I think I'm thinking about it. Hadia wants to change it to computer, which would be pretty cool.
It is a fun thing to interface. Like.
Yeah.
So is the in-studio one responding to computer?
No, I haven't changed any of them yet because I've sort of gone down. What's going on over here? What's Popey's hacking right now? You see, I put down the new. We can talk. I figured you can get a little hands-on in the show. Oh yeah, let me see it. In fact, I'll make sure it's. Yeah, this is the new one.
Look at how pretty that is.
I'm looking at that hard cider there. Oh, holy smokes! You'll recognize the Unity desktop with Wi-Fi working.
What?
Right? Wi-Fi just connected, no problem.
But Noah told me that was impossible.
I guess actually, when Hadia was testing this, she did actually have a bit of a problem with it reconnecting, but I haven't had any issues yet. So
Well, it only happens on suspend.
Yeah, I know. So I just took it out of suspend. I'm gonna try to go.
Some hardware doesn't have the problem, some of it does. And I found this fix that was really easy to set up.
All right, so I'm putting it back.
Good old System D solves everything.
Yeah, you can't change it to Book of Knowledge anymore. At least not the dot.
Ah, that's too bad.
Yeah. The dot is only like the 4 things. It's Echo, A word, and now computer. The dot has a more limited CPU, so yep, it just connects to Wi-Fi, no problem. The dot has a more limited CPU, so they have more hard-coded. I think maybe the full Lady in the Tube Echo you can, but I'm not sure.
Lady in the Tube.
Yeah,
I like
it used to be interesting. The way you used to be able to set your own custom name is you would go to the settings page, which is a web app, and then you would edit the HTML in like the inspector of your web browser, like live update the HTML with and replace the drop-down box options with one of your own names. So you would leave, so you'd have the display name and then the actual like HTML name of the field. You would leave the HTML name of the field, or I'm sorry, you would leave the display name of the field and change the actual HTML of what the option is, and it would just take whatever you
input.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that's how you would be able to. You could arbitrarily set the Echo to any name you wanted. But I'm pretty sure that they got rid of that.
Well, that is just intuitive user experience right there.
Yeah, well, I think it was a little loophole that people figured out. Really, it wasn't really ever meant to be used. Boy,
validation.
I am excited by this. I'm enjoying ciders this winter. This has been the winter of ciders for me.
Ciders.
It has. I've been enjoying the ciders, all different kinds. Cherry ciders.
Oh, cherry
apple
cider.
ciders. Oh, you bet.
That sounds amazing.
Oh, you bet. So we're gonna do a little teleconsole fun later on in the show.
That sounds awesome.
Mr. Popey has it on a DigitalOcean droplet, which
is just great. That is actually great.
It's just great.
Oh, Nihilus just emailed me. Huge CPU improvements.
Oh, really?
In Nihilus Mail.
I'm having an issue with Nihilus Mail where I go to my inbox and say I leave it open for like 5 days on my second desktop. I flip over to second desktop and it hasn't updated since the last time I used the app, and I have to like toggle off. I have to like go to like sent items or drafts or whatever, go out of the inbox screen, go back to inbox, and then look, there's 300 new emails that just popped up on my screen, and it was the weirdest thing, dude. Because I'm like,
very strange.
The other day I just slid over to the other desktop to see if I had any new emails, and I'm like, I don't have any.
I have no email.
That's amazing. It feels
Did people
so good.
forget I existed?
So I'm like, boop, and I had that like, that's weird. Anyways, I slide back over, and then then the weekend goes by.
Doing its job.
The weekend goes by. I sit down this morning. I'm like, now that's impossible. That's impossible.
Either everyone I know has died, or
yeah, exactly. Cody, it's been good. Although now I'm using Budgie on Arch too, which I really like. That's a good combo for me too.
Are you using Nihilus Mail or are you still using N1? Because I thought Nihilus Mail, the update,
the basic,
wasn't available.
No, I'm using N1. From Nihilus or however it's called now.
Who knows?
Yeah, I don't know what the right vernac is. The right vernac.
There's Nihilus Mail and there's Nihilus Pro.
Right, and I have Nihilus Pro, I guess. So I guess that's what. Although the application on my desktop still called N1.
What is this world?
What am I using? What they want to call it, or what it's actually called? It's very existential. Either way, I still like it.
And you keep using it, even with the flaw.
Yeah.
Bug.
Whew. We should probably start soon.
I guess we have a show for people today. I
Yeah.
think it's called Linux
I didn't
Unplugged.
even realize it was after. Yeah, I know.
So I brought you
Tech Snap show
something as well.
Oh, what?
Just some things for your grilling later.
Oh,
Because it seems like you're grilling a lot. So
I am.
Seems like you might need some.
I'm
things.
back on the wagon. I'm back on the grilling wagon like a maniac.
I approve of this.
Yeah, it's been good for me. It's been healthy. It's been rewarding. I tell you what, I enjoy it. And I'm not going crazy unhealthy. I mean, I've put a few crazy things in the vlog, but
yeah, sure. But
for the most part, it's actually like I'll grill like a burger and I'll eat just the burger. I don't know.
or some chicken,
That Eggo
whatever.
burger looked a bit weird.
Yeah,
Oh,
it was. And then I got another idea after that too, which and Rikai wants to do lasagna. He wants to do lasagna on the grill. Like he
It
wants
was
to do
very much, this is everything I have in my cupboard on
Yes.
the barbecue.
Yes, it was.
Chris,
Yeah.
Are you sure Rikai isn't a little fat orange and black kitty called Garfield?
Yeah, well, he does love lasagna, doesn't he?
And he does float down the the stairs
I think
after a smell.
I think what he wants to do is he wants to do one thing of lasagna in the oven, and he wants to do one thing of lasagna on the grill, and do like a versus and see which one turns out. I feel like to do it right, to do like a good lasagna, I'd want to do it on the charcoal grill, so that way I got like the really good flavor.
We should make sure he does that on a Tuesday. I'm just gonna put that out there. If you're taking notes, Rikai.
So Popey is going to be at scale, huh? I'm getting ever since we talked about it. No.
No, I'm at MWC.
How do you okay. All right. I see. I'm getting a lot of pressure to go. I don't really think I got a lot of people that are like
I wish I was going. I originally I was supposed to be going, but then I got dragged away to go to MWC. So there's two of us now. Mike's going to scale and I'm going to MWC.
Wow. Well,
Shucks.
Popey's not going. Wimpy's not going to be there.
Will you even know anyone?
Yeah, that's. I'm not as. I really like scale, but boy, I'm thinking about staying home and letting just Noah go and doing some other stuff during that time.
You have a lot to do.
I'm going to my first foster.
Yeah, did you like it, or you haven't gone yet?
It's this weekend.
Oh, that's exciting. I would say you could cook damn near anything you could cook in the oven on the grill, Rika. That's what I think. I'm still cutting off a little bit on that screen. All right,
with the right use of some foil and
exactly
that kind of
like
thing.
There's obviously some things you'd have to do, like, and I even include like using a cast iron, like skillet or something.
Oh
yeah. For me, it's just a matter of I prefer cooking with fire than the oven. So
it's more fun. It's primal.
Yeah. All right. Well, we should start the show.
Oh yeah.
I don't have anything to say in the intro, so I'll just make it up as we go.
Yeah.
All right, chat room, please bang suggest.
Cat dev random.
Mama room, prepare yourselves. Here we go. It is Linux Unplugged, episode 182, and it begins in 3, in a 2. This is Linux Unplugged, episode 182 for January 31st, 2017. Welcome to Linux Unplugged, your weekly Linux talk show that's so awash in new Linux hardware, we're not sure where to start the reviews first. My name is Chris.
My name is Wes.
Hello there, Wes.
Hello.
It's a nice piece of shiny hardware you have sitting next to you. We'll be talking about later on in the show today.
It's very nice.
Yes. Yes, we got a good show today. Later on, too. The part that I'm looking forward to the most, we're going to hack Popey server live on the show. We're going to hack Popey Riot live on the show. We're going to do that. And, of course, we'll do some open source project updates, chat a little new hardware. There's some big things on the horizon that I'm working on that I want to talk to you guys about, pick your brains about a little bit. Ryan's here from System 76 to make us drool over one of their new rigs.
Nice.
I know.
I'm drooling already. Whoops.
You know what, Wes? It's good to have you back. I missed you last week.
It is a pleasure to be back. I was sad to be gone.
You always give me. So yeah, we got a whole bunch of good stuff to go over. Plus, we got the hack and we got the new hardware. But bigger than all of that, Wes is back and he brought us an oaked maple hard cider. I don't even know what that is.
I'm not. Yep.
I think it's apples, right? It's got to be. But it's so delicious. It's a semi-sweet Seattle-based cider he brought us.
Oak chips and back sweetened with pure Vermont maple syrup. Okay, interesting.
Shut up. It really is maple syrup? So it's a Vermont maple syrup beer that we're drinking from Seattle. I'll take it. All right, well, we have many things to get into this week here on Your Linux Unplugged, so let's bring in our virtual lug. Time-appropriate greetings, Mama Room.
Hello.
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 Oh man.
Hello,
That's
guys.
amazing.
That's good every time. It gets it every single time. Yeah, I would imagine you can have cider made out of other things, Sweetland.
Mm-hmm.
You can have in fact, hard cherry cider is a real thing. It is real.
Oh yeah.
I've
just used apple cider.
Yeah, apple cider I think is probably pear cider. That's another one. Yeah, but that's not what we're here to talk about today.
Nope.
That is
We got some Linux things first.
We do. I've had a very interesting week in Linux. I've been going on and on and on about building this bulletproof Linux workstation for me. Just one or two of my systems that I want to last for like 5 years. I'm trying not to talk about it too much because I know not everybody cares, but it's really been what I've been living for almost 2-3 weeks now, actually, because it started when I had an Arch crash. And, yeah, right in the middle of a project. And then it just sort of got me down this path of, well, how would I build a system if I never wanted it to crash again? And there's so many different ways to split this up. I kind of begun to land on sort of a Solus or Arch with Budgie desktop combo. And then that crazy guy Ike, right after last week's show, like we get off the air with Ike last week.
Just chatting.
And he runs off and announces to the entire world that he's switching the Budgie desktop over to Qt. Which I think is probably a good long-term move, because there's a lot of things they've had to do to make it sort of pretend like GNOME over the years, and there's a lot of crazy folks out there that are rewriting their desktops over to Qt these days.
Seems to be a trend.
Yeah, well, and I think there's a reason for it. It's not just because it's a trend, but also because there's some real technical merits to Qt versus GTK when you're building something that's not GNOME and GNOME applications.
Right.
And I thought that was all great and good, except for the fact that it leaves me all of a sudden with the Budgie desktop about to go through this large transition.
A lot more change than you maybe otherwise would have expected.
Right, even change for the better, you might argue.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that they will only release it when they feel like it's ready for the end users. But even still, like I'm building a 5-year workstation here, right? And so really it was Ike's fault. He got me thinking. Ike and also producer Michael. I blame producer Michael also quite a bit for this too. It really got me seriously thinking about the Plasma desktop. And so I installed Plasma 5.8 a week and change ago.
On top of Solus?
On top of Arch.
Arch, okay.
Yeah, I figured I fixed my core Arch issue, which was a stupid infidelity font issue, and I got the Plasma desktop set up, and it has been 5.8 has been. That didn't mean to turn this into a quick Plasma review, but I have never used a more stable, rock-solid version of the Plasma desktop. I mean, every day, the week it's been installed on my system, and it's been a little more than a week, every day for that entire time has met as my butt is entering the cushion of the chair, as it's grabbing my butt, my keys are already being flicked by my fingers, and I'm already working, and every time it's ready to go. It's ready to go. I don't have to futz with nothing. Nothing gets in my way. I immediately start working the moment and I've set everything up, dude. I've even got an echo in there, so that way as I'm walking into the room, I can activate all the devices I want. So it's like this. There's enter the door, latency. I spin around, I sit down, and I start working. And I issue
the spinning's really important. A lot of spinning.
You got to twirl.
Yeah.
You got to take time to twirl and skip. And then I issue an echo command. It powers up all my devices, and as I'm sitting down at my keyboard, I'm working. There is zero friction to getting to work. And that's kind of necessary when like sometimes I'm like running into the studio. I got a live show in 5 minutes. I got to get this thing done.
Finish this thing.
Yes.
Yeah. You can't wait for the login screen to like just twirl at you for a while. Or
yeah. And I have been extremely impressed with how snappy Plasma has been. Like just super snappy with how reliable. I have noticed it's been extremely reliable. I have noticed a slight continuous uptick in memory usage. So I'm now using about a gig at resting more than I was a few days ago. But that can be explained by a lot of things.
Sure. And how much, what did that peak at?
Well, so far it's just sort of been steadily increasing because, who's got time to reboot?
Rebooting.
Who's got time, right? So I was really excited when Plasma 5.9 was announced. And the KDE project says they're kicking off 2017 in style with Plasma 5.9. Now, producer Michael, you're not by any chance running it already, are you? Because I know you on Neon.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah. All right. Without any further ado, are you ready for this?
Oh, I think I am.
I'm very excited. The Plasma guys once again contacted me and had me record the video. I'll just play a little bit.
Awesome.
I just do the voice work. They do everything else, so it's great. It's perfect.
They make the cool software.
Yep. After a few months of intensive work, the KDE community is pleased to announce Plasma 5.9, which brings many improvements and features to your desktop. Global menu bars for applications have returned and can be used with either a desktop panel showing the menu or neatly tucked away in the window bar. Due to popular demand, we implemented switching between Windows and Task Manager using the new Meta key plus number key shortcuts for heavy multitasking. It is now possible to create comprehensive look and feel desktop themes that will download all the extras needed from the KDE store, such as color schemes and Plasma themes. I can never win, Wes, because they just released Plasma 5.9, and here I'm thinking, I'm gonna go Plasma 5.8 LTS. I'm gonna go 5.8. I'll stick with 5.8, and then they ship 5.9 like days later.
They get you all excited about these features. And
what are they doing to me?
Yep.
What are they doing to me? So I don't know. Does anybody in the Mumble Room want to jump in on Plasma Desktop before we move on? I think it's a fantastic release. Lots of improvements, little things that make theming nicer, and whatnot.
It's not, well, I have been using Plasma 5 since 5.4.
Yeah.
And it has only gotten, it's more stable and more awesome every single release. I'll have one machine that's going to stay on 5.8 just to keep testing it, but 5.9 is a solid option, and I think it's actually a fantastic thing that they have an LTS version of their DE.
Yeah.
And with Neon LTS, you basically get both LTS for Ubuntu and LTS for Plasma. So but if you don't want to have the latest version of Plasma, you can also just use the regular Neon. And you'll still have Ubuntu LTS, but you'll have Plasma will keep rolling, which is awesome.
Yeah, I've been tempted by it. It's on my short list now.
Especially if you have the Ubuntu stuff, so you can do snaps or PPAs as well for that software availability.
We're going to talk more about...
I've tried snaps in it, and it works fantastic.
Yeah, you see, so we're going to talk more about that coming up a little bit in the show, because that is, I think, honestly, it's getting to the point where that is a genuine consideration, especially for, like I said earlier, a 5-year distribution. So it's really nice. I think it's one of their best releases yet. And if anybody else wants to comment on it, you can, but otherwise I'll just leave a link in the show notes. The video covers pretty much everything. I really like I think a lot of more open source projects should do that. And if I have the time, I'm making myself available to open source projects that want to make a video, but they don't have somebody to do the voice work. Maybe they don't have a good audio setup or whatever. Totally willing to do that for people as long as I can fit it in, like in a couple of hours on a Friday. I'll do it for you.
And it really seems like that's the kind of fit and finish that kind of goes the extra. You like 90%. The software's awesome. They have a good website. But that makes it seem like a very professional organization, which it is.
I think GNOME's been doing it for a while, right? So it makes sense that the Plasma Desktop.
Yeah.
GNOME started it, and then all of a sudden they released, KDE released a video that was terrible. You made fun of it, and all of a sudden they're like, oh, maybe we should fix that.
Yeah, and Wimpy, I know you've got a lot of community members that make spotlight videos of the Mate desktop and of Ubuntu Mate. Is this an area you've considered going down to help promote the distro, or do you feel it's not necessary?
It is something I've considered doing, yes. But it's a matter of having time and having something that's demonstrable and usable for something like that. So we haven't done anything professional. Maybe we will in the future. We're just getting to the point where we've got enough crowdfunding coming in that maybe over the course of a year we could put a little bit aside each month and do something like that. But I'd rather use the money that's coming in to work on the development stuff.
I agree. I think that makes sense.
Mate 2.0
we've got these community members.
Yeah, it seems like every now and then there might be a few banner releases or features where it might be worth the effort or the trouble.
As if I wasn't busy enough on organising something like that.
We need to just have somebody do. Actually, Wimpy, not that you have all the free time in the world, but you'd be really good at voicing a video.
Oh yeah, I'd watch that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's another thing I've all the time in the world for.
Yeah, I know.
I'll just do a British accent myself.
Yeah, that's pretty good. All right, so Ajax, you had a question about Plasma versus other desktops. Are you in the mumble room? Do you want to? Yeah, you are. Go ahead, Ax.
Yeah, I'm not a new Linux user, but I have been using Ubuntu for a while, and I'm just kind of looking to branch out. And I'm wondering, how better is Plasma, and what's the best way to go, and why do you think it's better?
Well, I'll just tell you my personal. I'm not going to say anything's better than anything else, but I'll tell you what I like about the Plasma desktop. First and foremost, it's very smooth. Everything renders very smoothly. The windows open really smoothly. But what I think I really enjoy now about the Plasma desktop the most is all of the tons of crazy ass configuration options that were wrong by default for so many years with the Plasma desktop are basically all set to sane defaults now. And so you can get one of the most incredibly powerful desktops, and everything is powerful. The terminal is one of the best terminal apps. I love the way I love Console. It is such a great terminal app. The way it handles tabs, The way I can easily send input to multiple tabs at the same time. Dolphin is a super fast file manager. When I have directories that have tens of thousands of files, it just simply renders them and loads them better than Files does, even though I like Files still. And Dolphin also has like great features like side-by-side pane support with a terminal built into the file manager, which is great for me when I'm working on Unfilter. So I really like the file management aspects of Dolphin. I like the KIO slave. So I have, for example, I have a KIO slave where I take a screenshot of something, it automatically uploads it to Imager and copies the link to my clipboard, so then I just toss it right in the show notes.
That is slick.
Little things like that I can automate that are really nice. There's things I miss about GNOME, but for me, each little application you go down, they're generally more feature rich. There are things about the Plasma desktop that I miss that I feel like I could probably work around. The biggest thing I really like on Unity and GNOME and really anything that uses the files or GTK file browser, even Thunar does this, is when I click on a Samba share, it uses GVS to mount it to my file system. And then I can use VLC and whatever else I want to watch video files. I don't
even go to the terminal and interact.
Yes, exactly. It's just a path on my terminal, which is huge. I don't know how to accomplish that in Dolphin because Dolphin uses the KIO slaves, and it's uploading and downloading files to my server, saving them in a temp directory, and then trying to save them back up. So if I try to watch a video in MPV, it tries to pull down the entire video first and then open it up in MPV, which is a disaster. So if I there are some things I don't know how to fix yet, but so many other things are either so much easier to set. Like one of my big frustrations used to have to go to 3 different places to configure when the screen went to sleep, when the screen locked out, and if the screensaver was turned on. Now it's one spot. So it's streamlined, it's nicer, and also, honestly, the Breeze theme has just gotten a lot of nice iterative updates. It looks really good, and GTK applications now look really good on the Plasma desktop. And Breeze has a very good dark theme, and I like a dark theme on my desktop.
Agreed.
And so it's Breeze again. And a lot of the white space issues I had with the Plasma desktop in the past, those have either been cleaned up. Like Dolphin compared to Conquer is such a night and day difference. Like if you're coming at the desktop from like the days of Conquer and you sit down at Dolphin, it looks like they ripped off the GNOME desktop to some degrees, but only the best parts. And the thing that I really like about it now is with a nice universal dark theme, Plasma widgets that don't crash all the time when I try to edit them, some sane defaults, great performance, super reliable so far, and a file manager that's super capable and actually getting new features and not features removed. It's checking on my boxes. It's checking my boxes, Wes.
I really like what you said about the defaults there because there's a lot of laptops or other things where it's like I can kind of install GNOME and just, even if I don't have time to perfect it, it's very usable by default. And for a while, it didn't feel like Plasma was, but now that sells me right there.
Yeah. So I think if you're gonna play with it, probably play around with Neon just to get a sense of it, and then pick your distribution of choice that matches your use case. There's a lot to consider out there. Neon's one of them, but I hear a lot from the SUSE camp. Yeah. I know Kubuntu is still an active project. There's still a lot out there that you can pick and choose from. So yeah, all right. Well, there you go. There's the Plasma new update. Brand new version 5.90 is out today as we record this episode. So you did see the story actually? I saw this story come across the newsfeed too, and I'm really glad you tagged it for the show, Wes. This gives me an unsettling feeling because I don't feel like we're getting the full story here. But Black Phone, remember the people that make like the super secure Android device with Silent OS?
SGP Technologies.
Yes, yep.
Silent Circle. Black Phone has been sending out an update to some devices that bricks them, to devices they say that are counterfeit devices. And it looks like, I'm not sure if they're counterfeit, but they weren't bought from a reseller. They were bought off of eBay. I believe they may actually be legitimate used devices. Sure. That's at least seems possible, right, from what we know.
So a reader in Germany contacted ours after the update bricked one of his phones, which he had purchased through eBay. The Black Phone 2, he said he received in the retail packaging. It looks just like the one that was reviewed on ours. It worked up to Silent OS version 307. When Silent OS 308 came out, it intentionally bricks the baseband on the device. When contacted, the Silent Circle technical support responded by saying, upon review of the IMEI number you provided,
It's been determined that the device is not a genuine Silent Circle Black Phone 2. This device was not sold by Silent Circle or an improved vendor of Silent Circle, and therefore, we are unable to provide any further assistance. So hang up, basically. This is, now, of course, the Silent Circle folks contacted after this story, contacted ours, and the project management VP said, Silent Circle is aware of unauthorized devices, and we're working aggressively to stop the sale of those anyways, it's imperative for our consumers and companies that we work with directly to use authorized sales partners when purchasing Black Phone 2. I'm not clear if this is used. I'm not clear if these are rip-off phones.
Exactly.
Do you know what bothers me about the story at the core of it? Can you guess?
It's Android.
Well, there's that. No, it's the aspect of the story that bothers me is we'll just issue an update and brick it.
Yep.
The hell is that? Like
fine if I can't use your software, but
don't allow me to click to your cloud servers. Don't allow me to get updates from your Silent
Circle. Maybe
Circle.
I want to still flash something else once I realize that it was a fraudulent phone, but it's still a phone.
Maybe I still want to call 911 when I get in a car accident. It's unbelievable how we have no sovereignty over our own devices anymore. Samsung, bricking notes.
I really think that highlights the different way we think about mobile devices and Android phones than a regular PC.
The mistaken way. Yeah, it highlights the mistaken way, the way we've been tricked.
It's a whole product. It's not like composable things that you could maybe repurpose.
We've been bamboozled. We really have been bamboozled. Like, we just accept it like it's a toaster or something. Yeah. These devices are sometimes the most important devices people have in their lives. They're, get ready for this, Wes, more important than their PC. Shocker.
This is Linux Unplugged. How dare you?
And if you're somebody out there buying a black phone, you probably really care about this stuff. Like, it's extra. You're not like your average consumer. Like, this stuff's important to you. And so to have it be disabled, even if it's a knockoff, that doesn't justify bricking the device. It's still a useful Android device. Mm-hmm. Push an alert message. Send me some sort of unauthorized, even Microsoft with illegitimate versions of Windows doesn't go this far. They might force you to reboot. They might put a watermark in your lower corner, but they won't nuke your PC.
And if they did, it would be crazy.
It's a monster, Wes. What we have created as consumers, and it's our fault. It is our fault. What we have allowed to be created as consumers, what we let Steve Jobs bamboozles us all into is our own fault. I really believe it. Because if we as consumers would stand up and say something or refuse to buy devices that can be remotely bricked, this wouldn't be happening. Instead, we have devices that have God knows what on the baseband, can't even be controlled by the operating system.
Whole other thing.
The vendor who buys it can choose to brick it whenever they want. Samsung. Now Black Phone. Who's the next Android vendor who's going to just remotely disable a phone?
And maybe that'll be the new thing, Oh, no more security updates. You're out of service anymore. Oh, you've had your phone for more than 2 years. It's just going to stop working entirely.
Yeah. Father says he prefers it. And I think the argument would be that these are supposed to be ultra secure phones. And so if they're...
Yeah, there is an argument there. That's the point.
Yeah, so this is, but I feel like I've addressed that in my proposal. My proposal is this. Disable connecting to TCP/IP. Disable the TCP/IP stack. My proposal is send an alert in the Android notification that says, this device is not an authorized device. It is not to be considered secure. But reflashing the baseband so that it simply just doesn't work, that could cost somebody their life. Somebody could be stuck in a car accident and not able to call for help. That is a step too far. And I don't blame Black Phone. I don't blame Samsung because they're really in these horrible situations. Black Phone doesn't want counterfeit products out there. Samsung doesn't want note devices blown up in your pocket so you can sue them and give them more bad press. So they're really in a rock and a hard spot. It's not like they're evil. Go ahead.
How many people, while they're drowning in a car, do a firmware update on their phone?
Drowning in their car? No, you do the update. You get in the car to go to work, and you get in a car accident. It's not that crazy of a scenario, right?
No, and I agree with you that this is lunacy. I think it's small company arrogance that they think they can do this. Like a large company like Amazon tried this, tried to reaching into Kindles many years ago. And deleting files from other people, from consumer devices. And look where that got them. They've never done it since. But this seems like the small company arrogance of we've made a fantastic product and you should appreciate the support we're giving you. Not we'll just throw the Chinese the Chinese method, which is throw a bazillion devices out there and we don't really give a crap about them once they've left the factory. It's the opposite. They're caring too much about devices, whether they know about them or not.
That's a great point. And I also like the idea from the chat room that could be a new action movie cliche. Like somebody drives off a bridge, their phone is their car is sinking, but their phone is in the middle of installing an update.
Yep.
The monthly Android update. It's the new cliche.
This is like a really boring
even
Black
the car
Mirror.
could be doing an update.
Yeah, that's
it
true.
It doesn't have to be
true.
the phone. It could be the car itself doing an update.
And then someone has an Alexa Dot or Echo in the car, and they have to do an update on that as well.
Ajax, you want to take the devil's advocate position? Go ahead, Ajax.
No, I think you guys are generally right. But the thought occurred to me as well. Say you're a big company or a small company, an employer giving this to your employees, and you're working against corporate espionage and doing some really important stuff. Do you want your employees to be able to override that? Like, do you want, maybe as an employer, you bought the black phone because you want it to break if it's not completely secure?
Right, and if I'm the company that owns the devices, I get to say that. It's not the manufacturer of the device that gets to say whether my employees can use their devices or not. It's me as the employer, the owner of the device. It's always the owner of the device that should have control over the device, not the manufacturer of the device.
That's my line. That right there. That's my line in the sand. That's exactly it. It is. I feel like I should have root access over every device I own whenever it's feasible. Maybe I could understand like the car. Maybe. But that's, even like the Echo. I feel like I should be able to go into like some sort of settings mode, activate developer mode, and SSH into my Echo and be able to control it.
Tweak things.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's we talked about it in Linux Action Show. There's some state laws that could help in the U.S., but I don't know. I don't know how optimistic I really am.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I see cars as like a lethal weapon.
Yeah.
It can be used as a missile on the road, but I don't see a phone as being a lethal weapon.
Right.
I can see how someone might argue that the phone might shout out while you're throwing it, "Don't throw me! Don't throw me!" Because it's against the end user license agreement to use it as a missile. I don't know.
Yeah.
If it's a note, it's okay.
Bitmux, you want to go? Go ahead. Bitmux.
Yeah, I'm here. I was thinking, maybe we could reverse engineer the braking system and just intentionally do the Galaxy Note 7 thing. Someone steals your phone, you just blow it up in their pocket.
Right. I actually think that'd be great. Like remote destruct. Sure. I'm not saying don't have it. Let me control it.
Ooh, yeah, there you go.
I like that, Bitmux. That's good.
What if a kid takes it? Now you think it's with a burglar.
Now it's a weapon.
It's in the hands of a kid.
And blow up the kid. No, that's no good. That is no good. Yeah, you got it. With great responsibility comes great explosions. I'm not quite sure how that saying goes. It was something my uncle once told me.
This is not a morality podcast.
All right. Well, while we're still talking about mobile, even tangentially, let's take a minute and mention our sponsor, Ting. In fact, I'd like to mention Linux.ting.com. Why? Oh, I'll tell you why. Because you get to save $25 off a device or $25 in service credit if you bring a device. And speaking of voting with your wallet, this is how you do it. Ting's no contracts, no early termination fee, and you only pay for what you use.
Ting keeps rates simple. We don't make you pick a plan. Instead, you just use your phone as you normally would. How much you use determines how much you pay each month. You can have as many devices as you want on one account. That's good, because when you use more, you pay less per minute, message, or megabyte of data. Your usage, plus $6 per active device on your account, plus taxes, is your monthly bill. Simple. That's what we mean when we say mobile. That makes sense.
You know what Kyra doesn't mention? Really great customer service.
Oh, yeah.
Top-notch customer service. You speak to a human, they talk to you, they fix your problem, they stick with you, they follow up. I know it sounds like almost ridiculous and unbelievable to say, but Wes, by God, they actually care.
They do.
It's like that's what their job is, and they take it seriously. It's
like
remarkable.
They're passionate about building a business that helps people.
You know, what's great about it is they're backed by 2 Cows, which has been around since before the .com crash. I mean, these guys have really dialed it in and figured out how to do this stuff. 2 Cows also runs Hover, another company I'm a huge fan of. I use them for all my DNS registration now. They've really figured out how to build sustainable companies that feature the customer first. So they have a great control panel. They have CDMA and GSM you can choose from. They don't mess around with early termination fees, no contract shenanigans, $6 a month for the line, and your usage, plus whatever Uncle Sam's going to take. That's it. Linux.ting.com. Go there, check them out. You cord cutters out there, check out their blog. Also, you tweeters out there, check out their Twitter feed. They are following some of the rumors about Android One coming to the U.S. on their Twitter feed, amongst other things, like sometimes giveaways and whatnot. They are They are twitter.com/tingftw if you'd like to follow them. And check them out. They also have a subreddit.
Yes, they do.
They're all over the web.
They're so hip over
YouTube
there.
channels, Google Plus pages. They got it all. But you start by going to linux.ting.com. That supports the show and saves you some money, linux.ting.com. And thank you to Ting for sponsoring the Unplugged program. All right, let's pick up the pace and keep moving. We've been talking about a lot of stuff. One of the things that is in my hot little, actually, it's in Wes's hot little hands right now, is a rig that we have in for review at this moment. Go ahead, Wes. Open her up.
Oh, this is beautiful.
So Wes right here has got himself the new XPS 13.
Yeah, who needs it when I got this new bit?
I know, yeah. The XPS 13 KB Lake. It's got an i7 in it. It's got the PCI SSD, 4K screen. It's currently running Ubuntu 16.04 with Unity as the desktop. I'm just kind of using it in the default configs. What are your first thoughts when you pick it up? You look at it. What do you think? And you have which edition, XPS Sputnik-y thing? You have like a...
It's one of the first.
Yeah, you have like the first,
It's
and I
the
have
first
like
and the second, yeah.
I have like the second or third, and this is the sixth. This is the sixth.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's well made. I mean, and they've like not a radical departure from the one that you have in terms of the body, but
yeah, it's pretty similar there.
It's very sturdy. I haven't done much on it, but Wi-Fi connected.
Yeah,
and it's very snappy.
Yeah,
the screen is nice. It's
the screen
consistent.
is very, very nice. There is a sort of a premium build feel about it too. Like, listen to this. You feel it? You know it? That's a nice solid thud when it closes, right?
I was immediately impressed by like adjusting the amount of resistance, adjusting the display.
Right, the display is on there. I like the way it goes back.
Hinge.
And yeah, it is. Look at that. Look at that.
Rock solid.
I'm sitting there bouncing it, buddy.
Yep.
I'm bouncing it up and down.
That is not moving.
No, it's great, and also a touchscreen, which you may or may not use, but it's there.
And Unity does work pretty well with that.
Interestingly, so I've had my family. I've had Hadia using this. I've had Dylan using this. And interestingly enough, both of them just sort of intuitively, when they're like browsing Amazon or in Dylan's case, YouTube, reach out and scroll.
Interesting.
Or when Dylan and I are sitting here both using this computer together and there's something he wants to look at, he just reaches out and touches it. And he didn't even know it was a touchscreen. I don't think I said anything to Hadia either. And I saw them both like sitting there on their lap and they're using it to scroll through web pages. So the touchscreen...
I can see that for the consuming side, and like when you don't have it docked right. So what's the port situation like?
Well, so here's what we got, Wes. You got yourself a Thunderbolt USB-C style port. I think, I don't know, I haven't really tested it yet, but yeah, it's USB-C shaped. Then you've got USB 3.0, headphone jack out. It's also got a little battery gauge on the side, so you can... Does yours still have that too? Is that something they've had since the beginning?
Oh yeah, mine has that as well.
Yeah, mine does too, which I just like. I like being able to hit a button on the side of the laptop and seeing what the battery is. It's got an SD card reader, and then it also has another USB port on the other side. So 2 USB 3.0 ports, SD card reader, USB-C, which has the Thunderbolt icon on it, although I have not tested that under Linux. But I have used USB-C, so I know that works.
That's awesome.
But I have not used Thunderbolt because I don't have any Thunderbolt stuff that has the USB-C plug. But it has.
I guess I don't either.
But you see, it has that little Thunderbolt icon, little logo next to it.
Oh yeah,
the plug there. So yeah, that's interesting.
What is this weird future we live in?
I know, USB-C future, man. It's something.
I got to say though, that is a handsome device. I would be proud to take it anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, it is exactly.
It's not like the old Dells where you're like, well, yeah, I mean, I bought it. It wasn't that expensive, and it works for me, but it doesn't look that great. It's not like that.
Yeah. I'm first impressions are pretty good in all those regards. So I've been getting my family's impression. I've been using it. I'm gonna reload it pretty soon with a different distro and just different desktop environment. See what that's like. Because I always like to, both in a lot of. Well, I don't actually. Can't think of anybody that doesn't ship the hardware preloaded with Ubuntu. I mean, everybody does, right? I mean, the ones that obviously come to mind are System 76. They ship it with Ubuntu, but all my System 76 rigs, I've generally at some point loaded other distributions on there. Even if I go back to Ubuntu or specifically Ubuntu Mate,
I still sometimes run Arch for a little bit, or Fedora, or anything else. And so it's nice to know the general compatibility with Linux too, not just the Ubuntu compatibility. But so far, the out-of-the-box stuff, top notch.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and I came across this for the previous version of the XPS.
LastJS.
Which is, actually, no, did I come across this or did you? Because you and I found some of the same links. Yeah. This, I can't remember, but this is getting Mac OS on the XPS 13, the 9350 edition. So I thought I'd just drop this in there. For those of you who are crazy enough to do that, that's a thing.
Look at those K extensions.
Yeah, have fun with that after the next update comes out. Then also, what showed up on Reddit/r/Ubuntu is a review of the XPS 15 Kaby Lake with the NVIDIA 1050, which is now starting to get into the range of like an actual like computer I'd really want to consider. And this is not an official Dell supported configuration, I don't believe, but I think our local resident Wimpy has messed around with the XPS 15 running Linux and has had some good success, right, Wimpy?
I have. I've got the 5th generation 13 and the XPS 15.
Okay. So, and have you had any problems running Linux on the XPS 15, even though Dell doesn't ship in that config?
No, because the Dell reseller I got it from offered configuration options that included the exact same Wi-Fi card as is in the XPS 13.
Nice.
So everything else is the same apart from the Wi-Fi chipset in that model, and therefore it just works.
Huh. Okay, so that was what you kind of have to take away from that, I think, is make sure you get the... This is the thing. If you go off with
I think that was then, though. I think now they only sell the models with both models of Wi-Fi chipset compatible with Linux.
Yeah, okay. It looks like in this review, this guy didn't have to fight with wireless either. WW, you had a question about the 13?
Yeah, have you used it under a heavy load? Because I've heard people in our own IRC room that have used it under a heavy load and had a coil whine issue because when the fan kicks up so fast and high that you hear kind of a whining from it.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna specifically test that because I've heard that from the community as well. So it's interesting that you've picked up on that too. So the only real heavy load I've put it under, which did kick the fans a little bit, is we watched a 4K YouTube video.
Oh, okay. HTML5.
Didn't hear any whine then, but it was literally for like 3 minutes. So I'm going to do like some extensive testing. What is a good way other than like Prime 95 or something from like the ancient days? Is there like a really solid like run this command and it generates a lot of CPU usage besides building software?
I think you should. I think there's a version of the Heavens engine benchmark for Linux.
Oh yeah, okay.
You could possibly use.
Yeah,
I will check it now.
I can definitely figure out ways to cause CPU usage, but I would like to do sustained like minutes.
Just keep compiling that kernel for your MacBook.
Yeah, yeah, right. So that's something to try. But yeah,
worth noting. There's two things. There's a good benchmark for Onyx Test Suite.
Yep.
Which will like run a whole bunch of games and all kinds of stuff.
Yep.
But the thing to note is the coil whine is nothing to do with the fan.
Oh, okay.
Even under no load whatsoever, the coil whine in the really old ones it would just whistle just gently enough to be really annoying, but under no load at all.
Oh boy.
I've not experienced this on either of mine.
Oh boy.
I'd add as well.
I guarantee you I would be hypersensitive to that. So if
it's one of those things like the first time you hear it and then you're done. Before it was fine and then
yeah. Because I know a lot of you are like this, so I'm not trying to brag, but I can walk in. I'll walk into a room and I can tell you if a TV screen is on just by the coil whine of the TV screen. It's less prominent now with LCDs, but it's still a thing. And so it's one of those where I would be one of the people in the room going like, "What is that noise?" And everybody else would be like, "What are you talking about, Chris?" I'm like, "There is something ringing in here." I'm really sensitive to that, and there are entire machines I have stopped. Librem 15. There are entire machines I've stopped using because of the noise they make. So we'll see. I haven't had that whine. I've not heard any whine yet. I would absolutely tell you if I did though. Yeah. I don't know. I got to figure out what the price config is on this one too to give the. So I haven't done the whole price to performance ratio yet either. Yeah. So if you're out there and you have one of these machines, I'd like to know what you've thought. What you've run into, specifically if you've had any issues around Kaby Lake, any that kind of stuff.
Right, yeah.
Because
new chips.
Yeah, I used to for years was like, oh yeah, no, it's no problem with Intel stuff. But then
then Skylake came
happened,
around. Yeah, and there was some problems. Yeah. Speaking of problems, are you just trolling me with this next one, Wes?
Yeah, I think so.
Are you really? Yeah, legit. Yeah, good man.
I did. I saw it and I was like, okay, well, I have to at least send this to Chris if not put it.
No, I mean that's true. At the end of the day, I guess I decided. But it was still low. This is so awesome. So we got an update on the ButterFS RAID 5 and RAID 6 status.
This is on the Linux ButterFS mailing list.
Yeah. And their update goes like this. They believe, and this is coming from Jan, and also it's an email thread between Jan and Hugo and others, and they think what they probably should be doing is updating the wiki to reflect the fact that things are way more broken than they initially thought. Like RAID 5 and 6, don't even go near them. There's just some examples. Now, it's in some respect, it's really great they found this stuff.
Yeah.
So there's that. In other respects, the RAID 5 or 6 scrub will repair data while corrupting parity. Kind of ironic. So while you're fixing your data, you will corrupt your parity.
Just trade one corruption for another.
RAID 6 scrub can report false alerts on CSUM errors. The dev replace cancel sometimes can cause an entire kernel panic of your system.
Yep.
And they also are seriously considering re-implementing ButterFS's entire RAID 5.6 configure the entire thing using Device Mapper, which is tried and true, but old.
Yeah.
So they may be rewriting the entire RAID 5.6 aspect of ButterFS.
Does that make you want to build a nice big
RAID
RAID 5 array right now?
Yeah,
just right now.
Just go all in on ButterFS right now. I am so stoked about this. When you saw this, Wes, did you laugh? Were you disappointed? Like, what was your? Because my initial reaction was actually a little sad. Like I was like, oh,
yeah.
We're never gonna get there.
We're never gonna get there. Yeah, it was a little. I mean, I think it was all of those things, right? I was like, it was kind of funny, and I was thinking of you and just some of the quotes from the mailing list.
Of course.
But the part of me is like, I still have a ButterFS RAID 1 system, so I'm glad that they aren't mentioning that in here. There's some mention of it later, but
yeah, there was two links you sent me. What was the second link you sent me?
The second one was just talking about the Chris over at Facebook who has given
the one that the use case that is always mentioned for ButterFS, right?
Yeah,
the singular use case.
So they just kind of talk about how they've focused in the past on single drive use cases. They may change that this year. Performance stability, and then maybe RAID 5.6 are on their list. So we'll see. Maybe if there is a rewrite, Facebook will be involved, but who knows, right? I mean, and that's the thing is like really ButterFS has been relegated to, hey, Intel XFS has snapshots that are like fully worked out. Here's some snapshots for your root file system. Don't trust data in any serious NAS array.
XFS, everybody. XFS. If you don't need all the features of ZFS, please consider XFS for your home partition.
It's just a few letters less than Z. It's almost there.
It's close.
Yeah.
It's damn near close. For maybe your var. I don't care. Hey, I'm Honey Badger about it. But XFS, my friends, please consider it. And then if you want a grown-up file system that's used in production, ZFS. I'm not even saying that to be antagonistic. It's just the reality now. And oh, this hurts so bad. This hurts. And remember, I know we are now like a year into Chris bashing ButterFS, but the year before that, I put all my shit on ButterFS. Like my actual, in fact.
I mean, I still have root partitions on ButterFS. I'm sure you do as well.
The VM server that runs a bunch of the local servers here at Jupiter Broadcasting all of that stuff is stored on ButterFS. Like, the backend NAS storage is ZFS, but the server itself that's running all that stuff, we are ButterFS all up in this business, still to this day. Mm-hmm. And we have Arch machines in those VMs running on ButterFS.
We heard you like ButterFS.
Jeez. And I'm not using any of the RAID features, though, and it's really been fine for them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And the systems don't fill the disks a lot. They're running kind of the same thing, the same jobs, the same tasks all the time, and it's actually been fine for that. So while I've been spending a year kind of trash-talking ButterFS, it's just simply because I want us to be competitive.
Exactly. Yeah, right. That's what it comes down to is like it would have been great if ButterFS was the project that could have built a new GPL licensed ZFS that we could use and could be in kernel.
Amen.
That's not what's happened.
Amen. Exactly. That is exactly how I feel about it, and that's exactly what I wanted. And that's why now I say XFS. Wimpy, do you agree?
Yep. I've done for a long time. I've had good success with B3FS on root file systems. Mm-hmm. This was some time ago, but for out-and-out performance, with the compression, it was brilliant. But then, not because of the issues that have since come to light with B3FS, but I started using F2FS because I've moved to SSD. So F2FS for root file systems, and then XFS for volumes of data.
Will you de-noob me? What is that?
F2FS is a file system developed by Samsung, and it's specifically for flash and solid state devices. So it's hot rocking fast on anything from memory cards, USB sticks, and SSDs.
How did you come across this?
It's been around for years.
Yeah, I imagine. It just doesn't ring a bell for me.
It was one of the things I was tinkering with when I was trying to build an OS based on Arch for the Raspberry Pi years ago. And this was a way to get better performance. And the only drawback with F2FS is that it doesn't have all of the user space tools. So, for example, there's no file system resize capability at the moment.
Get it right the first time.
You get it right the first time.
Been there. Will you put a link to that in the show notes, Wes? Because I saw you just found that there.
Yes, I will.
Yeah, I'm very fascinated by these and Bcache FS and others that.
Yeah, and that's the one that I tinker with on a spare machine, and that's my little hobby file system that I like to keep up to speed with. Yeah,
I fantasize about the position that folks like yourself, Wimpy, and folks like Ryan at System 70 and System 76 are in, where I all of a sudden have to make the decision what potentially thousands upon tens of thousands of users may use as their default. And that is such a head job for me. Like, when it comes to the responsibility of choosing a file system, like, there is not, when it comes to your core foundation, once you've chosen Linux, you've made the hard choice. Now it's like, what distro and what file system? And you choose, generally people choose Ubuntu or Ubuntu Mate. Mm-hmm. And then you choose your, and that's like, those are the three big choices in my world. And I can't imagine, like, every time I get in that position, I think, well, you just do extended 4. Because nobody gets fired for shipping extended 4.
That's the way to think about it.
Or you're SUSE and you do ButterFS. And then you spend the rest of the year defending ButterFS into oblivion. But I digress. I think that's an interesting, would you ever consider, okay, Wimpy, what would it take before you would flip the bit to make XFS the default file system for future, like 1810, let's say it's Ubuntu Mate 1810, what would it take to convince you to flip the bit to XFS for the default file system?
It wouldn't take anything to convince me, but it's not a decision that I could make alone, because it would be something that would affect all of the flavors, so there would have to be a consensus of opinion.
Oh, it's it's all Ubuntus that would switch.
Yeah, because
I didn't know that.
It's a feature of Ubiquity. Yeah.
And we have kernel developers who are quite anti Butterfest for good reason. They've done a lot of testing, like pulling out the cable while it's running, kind of testing.
Do you mean B3FS or XFS?
Butterfest, sorry.
Fine.
Yeah. That's interesting, Popey. That's that, and so I guess the flip side to that is, so you could frame it as, well, we can't do XFS until all Ubuntus do XFS, but the flip side of that is, once Ubiquity has drop-down checkbox support for ZFS, then all of the flavors get it, right, Wimpy?
Yeah, and there is a capability to put plugins into Ubiquity, so you can have additional steps in the installer. And the only flavor I'm aware of that ever did that was Mythbuntu, so that you could configure the back end and front end components individually during the install. So it might be possible that using a plugin that could be overridden. I'm not sure anything like choosing the file system is exposed in the plugin or not. I think that's a separate piece. But yeah, I'd happily go with XFS. I mean, it's proven itself over many years now.
I didn't really think about that. That is interesting, because you'd really come down to having to either do a plugin if they didn't have plugin support for the file system, and you really were, you were really serious about this, you'd essentially have to fork Ubiquity to pull this off. So, those are the kind of things I haven't thought about. But so the choice is sort of made for you in some sense, but the net gain overall is totally worth it.
Yeah, but when I install my machines, I just do the manual partitioning and just set everything up with XFS anyway.
Yeah, I usually do the same.
Ryan, do you know if anybody over there at System 76 has ever, kicked around the idea of switching around the default file system or switching around something like that? Is there any kind of like skunk works where people try out new file systems at System 76?
Well, we do try them out, but we typically end up shipping whatever Ubuntu ships by default.
Yeah, that kind of seems like a good bet.
Yeah, it's safe.
Yeah, and also you get the advantage of a huge user base that's all sort of has the same common set of configurations, and that makes it much easier for people that are looking for support after the fact. So we kind of end up...
Correct.
This is one of those defaults that truly reigns supreme. So we end up with Extended 4, and I suppose if the market came along one day and really wanted something else, we would see a change. But for right now, for what we need, it's getting the job done.
Yeah.
It's getting the job done. All right, well, speaking of getting the job done, let's talk about Linux Academy. Talk about a really great way to get the job done and learn more. linuxacademy.com/unplugged. That's where you go to support the show, and you sign up for a free 7-day trial. linuxacademy.com/unplugged. Take advantage of a platform built by Linux users for freaking Linux users. That makes all of the difference. Linux and open source isn't one of the many things they cover. It's the only thing they cover. And that really makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, one of the things I've really liked about Linux Academy is I talked to them before they were really publicly known. And what I walked away from the conversation was, well, we watched Jupiter Broadcasting and we thought, what if we did a podcast network but we made money? And I thought, that's a great idea. I should have thought of that. Yeah. And they're like, well, then we kind of kicked that idea around. And this is what we came up with, because they wanted to spread Linux. They wanted more people using it. And they recognized there was this total gap in the industry for getting you credible, good Linux training that the rest of the industry would get behind and recognize. And that, to a T, is Linux Academy. They got course schedulers for your busy schedule. They got video courses. They got self-paced study guides. They got downloadable, comprehensive stuff you can take offline, listen in the shower.
That's amazing.
A community full of Jupiter Broadcasting members, learning paths, which are very specific tracks for your career that are planned out by their instructors. Oh, instructors, yeah, they've got those too. Full-time humans who are happy to advise and answer questions. Nuggets of just little teeny bits of wisdom when you're busy, and study guides and audio that you can take with you. And a notebook you can keep filled out, and here's the best part, note cards. Take advantage of one of the best things of open source, that is people forking stuff and making it better. They got those with the note cards. They integrate little things like that, some concepts from the open source community into the platform. It's genius. They've also got iOS and Android apps now, and they're building out content like a mo, adding stuff all the time. I think it's probably one of the coolest companies I've watched grow up over the last few years. And one of the nicest things about Linux Academy is legitimately every single week there's something cool and new to talk about. I love how much stuff they're doing. I love how hard they're hitting it. And I love the results our community is getting. You start by going to linuxacademy.com/unplugged. Sign up for a free 7-day trial. Try it out yourself. See how useful it is. Look at the public profiles. See how you can use that to tell management what you've been working on. And then, when you're all done at the end of the day, just sit back and play around with their lab servers. That's what I would do. linuxacademy.com/unplugged. And a big thank you to Linux Academy for sponsoring the Unplugged program. What are you doing over there? Did you go to sleep and have to wake back up again?
Yeah, that's right, I did.
What does that solve? What problem did you fix by sleeping your laptop and re-waking it?
Sadly, nothing.
Nothing. What's wrong? Did it lock up on you?
Chrome was just being weird. It wasn't like clicking for the mouse at all. So
what distro? I just tried out a distro recently. Oh man, I can't remember. I just recently tried out a distro that had Chrome and Chromium installed. Oh no, it was. Wait a minute. No.
Hold it.
It was the XPS 13. It came out of the box from Dell with Chrome and Chromium installed. Like, what the hell is this about? Like, why do you have Chrome and Chromium? Like, you just do one or the other, and not Firefox. Not Firefox.
So this is a privilege of an OEM that works with Canonical to produce their images.
a privilege. They can install 3 web browsers.
They can work with Canonical. Well, they can install 3 browsers, but they can work with Canonical to change what's on the image. They don't have to use the vanilla image. They can actually make customizations.
That is nice.
Oh yeah, one of the other things I noticed is a pretty slick, actually, really slick boot up animation, music, animation. It makes Ubuntu really feel like a. Do you remember when Mac OS way back in the day had like these welcome to Mac OS animations that were kind of okay? Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is like those, only way better. It's really
now
well done.
I want to see this. Wow.
Yeah. So you boot it up, you get like this. You get this whole full screen video presentation. But yeah, you do get Chrome and Chromium. And so Wimpy, am I to understand that there is like a back and forth? Like we will. Like, how does that work? Like, how are they able to add something? Did they like carve out a deal with Google to redistribute Chrome? Is that what I'm to understand?
I don't know what the arrangement is regarding Google, but I know that what they're able to negotiate as to what deviations they want to make from the vanilla image.
So this doesn't make like
to still be recognized as Ubuntu and supported.
So it's not like it doesn't become like a Dell Ubuntu.
No, Canonical will still recognize it as Ubuntu, and it is supported.
Okay,
that's nice.
Okay, that's nice. I want to just 2 stories, and then I want to get into some new hardware that's coming out of System 76 that's going to mine all the bitcoins. Did you know that kernel.org back in they shut it down in 98, but until 1998, you could mount kernel.org via NFS or Samba over the internet?
Yep.
That's fun.
Yeah. I think I might have done it once. Maybe. And I didn't even know what the hell I was doing back then. And they were
you ran a magic command and then like a kernel popped out and...
It was just the worst though. Wimpy, did you ever do this?
I remember trying to get it working through our company firewall over NFS once, and about that time then figured out this was a really bad idea and just worked out how to write a script to make FTP recursively grab what
there
I
you
needed.
Go. Yeah, not NFS and CIFS, not known for their tolerance of high latency connections. Not what they're strong at.
No.
Yeah, FTP much better. But it is 2017, and 19 years later, kernel.org is announcing that they are terminating their FTP services. No more FTP for US.
There's a good discussion just about like that FTP can be tricky with firewalls, and some good highlights like they can be sent to random port numbers. They may originate from server or client. Destination addresses are negotiated on the fly. So I can see why it's just like a lot more of a burden to maintain than just use HTTP.
Yeah, but not for them, in a way. Like well, yeah, I guess. As long as they keep rsync up, I'm happy, really, to be honest with you. And HTTP, I'm good. Yeah, I don't know though, because I still have muscle memory for ftp.kernel.org. ftp.kernel.org.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's gonna be weird. But time moves on. Also, moving on, I thought this was sort of interesting, and I'll just link it up in the show notes for you guys. But super quick, if you're like me and you're on a super limited bandwidth connection at home, or maybe you're on a LAN with tons and tons of workstations running Steam, I don't know. Steam Pipe and other utilities like Nginx can be used to locally cache Steam updates, game files, and whatnot on your LAN. Ars Technica has a whole write-up about it that we'll have linked in the show notes. You could only cache games you own, and it caches them the first time you pull them down. So it's not like you can't like take Steam Pipe, point it at the Steam store, pull down all of the things,
and just have it right there.
Doesn't
work that way.
No. And this is like a combination of Nginx and Steam Pipe and other things to help you sort of solve the problem. Maybe you got a LAN game, or you got a whole bunch of machines, or like myself.
Your roommates also use Steam.
There are also times where my MiFi connection in Lady Jupes is super strong, and I maybe want to do this kind of stuff. And then there's times where it's not so good, and it would be nice that when I reset up a machine, or I'm trying out a system for review, to be able to just pull them from a local system.
Install Race the Sun.
When do I not?
Yeah.
When do I not? The answer is never. So this is kind of a neat feature, and I don't really have much to add. We're not going to go through the whole how-to here, but if you want to locally cache your Steam games, and who doesn't, right? I also like to have my own local Pac-Man repo, my own apt repo. I mean, come on. Yeah. I like having all the things. So ours has a write-up on that. Now, Wes, when I say System 76, you say...
Fantastic computers running.
I say
Ubuntu.
Oryx too. I say laptops.
Oryx.
I say laptops actually.
Yeah, laptops.
Which is funny.
Although they have desktops. Chris.
I know some of my first systems. Actually, my second System 76 machine was a desktop. So I know that. But you know what I haven't said for a while, and every now and then I mention on Linux Action Show. But you know what didn't come to the tip of my mind? Servers. But System 76 has a whole line of servers.
I did not know that.
And I have been led to believe that once people have been convinced of the System 76 persuasion, they usually end up coming back looking for more, like servers. I don't know if that's true or not, but Mr. Ryan Sipes is in the mumble room, and perhaps he can confirm rumors of a new Ibex Pro. Ryan, is it true? That was Ryan.
Yes.
There it is.
He was too busy playing with the new Ibex Pro.
I was on the edge of my seat there for a second. Yeah. That was really good. This is not just any old server though, Ryan, right? Because this is like one that could have like a whole bunch of GPUs in it. This is like a Bitcoin maniac.
8 Tesla P100s, 3,000 CUDA cores. It's a pretty big beast of a machine.
1.5 terabytes of RAM.
I want it. 32
terabytes of SSD storage, if that's your persuasion. Yes. 8 GPUs. Woo! So, Ryan, am I kind of right, though? Do a lot of people, they end up coming to System 76, they buy a desktop, they buy a laptop. Maybe I'm a school district, and all of a sudden I find a lab full of System 76 machines, and next thing I know, I need a server. And people kind of get sort of... they get swayed by the whole System 76 package. Is that a kind of a common entry point for the servers, or can you talk a little bit about what System 76 is doing in the server space, because it's not something we talk a lot about?
Sure thing. We offer a full line of servers from your like basic 1U, server that maybe is running, I don't know, like maybe use it as a web server, maybe it's something that's not really intensive on GPU or not. We offer from the small server all the way up to the new Ibex Pro, which is a beast. It's a monster.
My kind of machine.
And the thing is that a lot of folks come for the laptops and desktops, but they stay for the awesome server line that we have, and they look to us for our fantastic Linux support when they're considering that type of machine.
GPUs in servers.
Lot of them, yeah.
I'm familiar with like scientific workloads. I'm pretty familiar with like live streaming use cases. But I can see, a lot of different server-side workloads coming. I joke about Bitcoin. It's not really what you would use this machine for, but man, I could imagine there's people out there like in the design industry or the scientific community that must need a lot of GPU power, right, Ryan?
Yeah, machine learning and render farms for like 3D video. These are common use cases that we hear about. I've said this before, I think, on the program, but we have some customers who everybody knows who's really big into machine learning, maybe even autonomous driving, those type of companies, and they've been looking forward to us producing a machine like this.
Yeah,
how about we set up one of those Steam streaming servers? Those GPUs can render it, and then I can just play right here on my laptop.
We'll have the Jupiter Broadcasting streaming service as one of these things. It wouldn't just be for you and I; it could be for everybody. Yeah, that's pretty great. I think when I picture like the ultimate school district, I would totally love labs with System 76 desktops, secretaries on the all-in-one systems, and office staff and teacher computers would all be the all-in-one systems. Servers on these, not the GPUs, but just that kind of stuff.
That would be nice.
That'd be such a sweet setup. So Ryan, you're telling me people are still buying local servers and installing them on premises? I thought everybody went to the cloud.
Well, those cloud providers have to buy their servers from somewhere.
That's true. Yeah, that's very true. And they need more powerful servers than ever, so you guys got to stay busy.
Yeah. Fortunately, we've had really, really great reception to our server line, and the demand just continues to grow. And so we've continued to grow our server line to meet demand. And so I would encourage anyone who is who works at a data center or for, a university doing machine learning, protein folding, things that are really GPU heavy, to take a look at the IBIX. When you talk about buying time on one of these GPU servers, it isn't cheap. In fact, some of the cloud providers require you to enter into some kind of amount of time that you have to use it, because they have to spin up that thing on site in order to make a instance available to you. And so sometimes it seems crazy when you're talking about a machine that can range anywhere from $9,000 to $114,000.
Oh.
But if you're a big, enterprise or university, sometimes having something like this on site can be cheaper than renting time on a cloud service.
Hey man, mine's only 41,000, so I don't know what you're talking about. I configured a system, just for casual usage. Just for casual
usage.
Casual usage with, how many cores did I put in there? Oh, I put 22 cores in there with 44 threads.
You sure that'll be enough, Chris? Maybe you should get 2.
Yeah, so that's the new IBIX from System 76. Holy smokes!
I also wanted to bring some stuff up because lots of folks have been really excited to see that we're making a new product release, and I wanted to reiterate that Carl is speaking at UbuCon and will be releasing 3 products while he's on stage. So people who are in the Pasadena area or can make it out there should totally attend that talk.
Cool, man.
Awesome.
And of course, check out the IBIX over at system506.com. I'm just gonna, I like anytime you have a system that has a configuration option of first CPU memory and then second CPU memory, and the option is 768 gigabytes of RAM. You're not playing around. This is a serious.
Wow.
Yeah. And then the base GPU design is 2,800 cores. And it can go all the way up from there to like 39,000 cores. Woo! That is a beast of a system. Wow,
I know what I want for my birthday.
Yeah, that's a whole another level. Speaking of another level, let's talk about our last and final, but you know what? Honestly, the sponsor that I'm using right now as we do this very show, so you can't call them last, and definitely you can't call them the least. They are DigitalOcean. Go over to DigitalOcean.com and use our promo code DOUnplugged. You get a $10 credit. You spin up a rig. Try it out. You got an open source project. You got a demo you want to do in a podcast in a few minutes, you do it on a DigitalOcean droplet. Oh, you'll see what I'm talking about. DigitalOcean.com, use our promo code DOUnplugged after you sign up. You get a $10 credit. You can try out their 3 cents an hour rig. Nice machine.
Ooh.
3 cents an hour is really an unbelievable rate to get a really fast computer with a 40 gigabit e-connection. Everything has SSDs, regardless of the price you pay. A brilliant control panel, super smooth, straightforward API, and documentation that is to die for. DigitalOcean.com. Use the promo code DOUnplugged. You create your account. You go in there. You get in there all like a boss. You get your username. You do your email thing. Then you log in. You type in DOUnplugged. You get the $10 credit. You go nuts. Say you get the $5 rate, go crazy for 2 months. I'm not going to judge. I won't tell people what you're doing. I mean, you can tell me what you're doing, but I won't tell them what you're doing. Come on. I know it. It's great. There's so many things, right now, as we record this show, I'm using DigitalOcean to host my IRC. I'm using DigitalOcean to stream this here very show. I know. I'm using DigitalOcean to sync the files I'm using to play on this show and to talk about it. And I've been using DigitalOcean this morning to set up the files. I'm using DigitalOcean to talk to our virtual lug because the mobile room runs on a DigitalOcean droplet.
Hey, yo.
There's so many things we use DigitalOcean for. And it doesn't matter if you're a beginner or if you're an expert, you'll find their interface is fantastic. They got data centers all over the world, so even our international audience will find something locally that hyper-serves their customers. And then they have some of the best documentation on the web, not because they copied it and set up a wiki, but because they've really worked with their community. They've rewarded the very, let's say, high producing members of the community who create really great content. They've monetarily rewarded them. They've hired full-time, and I'm plural here, full-time editors.
Multiple.
to edit the documentation. Like, they take every aspect of their business super serious. And right now, not only are they rolling out this really nice front-end system to help manage your traffic and spread it across your entire infrastructure, but the beta that I've been playing around with is their monitoring system.
Oh, yeah.
Integrates right in with the dashboard. I can enroll my existing droplets, and I can, quote-unquote, upgrade them to monitoring. Nice, dude.
That's
so nice.
So cool.
Honestly, for us, like, for a couple of our servers, we kind of guessed on how much horsepower we needed to like do live transcoding video, but we didn't really know. And now with this new system, I can get a much better idea. So I can really kind of narrow in on the kind of performance I need. Do I need more? Do I need less?
See if you're pushing it or you're just wasting things.
That's the thing, dude. And it's really nice. DigitalOcean.com. Use the promo code DO Unplugged. It just gets better every single week. And a big thank you to DigitalOcean for sponsoring the Unplugged program, DigitalOcean.com, and use that promo code DO Unplugged. So, Wes, you see my screen right here right now?
Oh, what is that? Is that top?
That's Popey's computer right there. I am logged into Popey's computer using...
fork bump. Come on, fork bump.
You know, RM-RM. No, just kidding.
Knock yourself out, Chris.
Yeah, I know. We were talking, Popey and I were talking earlier today, and he's like, well, maybe I'll set up a droplet for you, because he doesn't want me to hack his system. But this is using Teleconsole, which is an epic we featured on Sunday. And what's even better than this is, I think, and I'm guessing, but Popey, I think you kind of got involved in this because you found that either did you help get involved with the snap, or you found it had a snap? And
yeah, I discovered Teleconsole last week. There was it featured on Hacker News, and it rose up the GitHub trending projects, and I thought, oh, that looks interesting, let's take a look. And I contacted their CEO, the company that is called Gravitational, that made Teleconsole, and said, hey, would you like your application snapped and put in the store? And I had a conversation with them on late on Friday night last week, and I'd already snapped it by this point. It was already packaged up as a snap. And I had a chat with them, and they said, seriously, you just want my permission to put it in the store? I said, yeah. He went, do it. So that was it. I put it in the store, and I'll hand it over to them shortly. I've created a pull request on their GitHub repo, so they can take ownership of it. But basically, if the directory you're in is just a directory on a like you said, on a DigitalOcean droplet, but in there is a YAML file. If you do an LS, you'll find there's a YAML file in there, and that's the config that I created. It's not hugely complex.
Wow,
that's all it took.
Wow, I'm gonna look at that again. Look at that. So
it's
really,
like
the
20
thing
lines or so.
Well, no, I mean, it's less than that if you take out the description.
Well, yeah, if you take out all the metadata, there's like 3 lines.
Yeah,
wow. That made it.
This is so you have copy, and then you have a tar file, and this is made simpler because it's a Go file. I mean, it's a Go program that's pretty much all statically linked. It's all ready to go, so it's not like a ton of extra deps have to be installed.
Right.
But this is. I mean,
you're running this in a web browser. You're connected over a web browser.
Yeah, we're using Teleconsole.
So that's the cool thing. So
yeah.
This is the cool thing. We're using Teleconsole to talk about Teleconsole. So I just installed Teleconsole Snap from the store, and then ran Teleconsole, and it gave me a URL. I gave that to Chris, and he could open that URL in a browser and then look at my machine and actually interact with the machine. So I can sit here, and this is great for providing support. If you've got family members who have got an Ubuntu machine, they can install Teleconsole, or whenever they need help, they can run Teleconsole, give you the URL, you can connect, and there's no port forwarding, there's no SSH keys or any of that nonsense. And you did mention on Laz that it is possible to do this with a GitHub ID, but you can do it without that. You can just give them a URL, and
which is what we did here.
It's brilliant.
And what's fascinating is if Popey, right, if you resize your window on your side, does it resize it on my side? Like it is very much what I see.
Do
is
you
what
want to make it smaller or larger?
Try making it try making a hair larger. Does it? Are you just you're just dragging the window on your screen right now?
So I'm just grabbing the terminal window, and I've just made it slightly bigger. Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool. That is so great. And then you can revoke the session essentially and kick me out.
I can just press Control-D, and it will exit out of Teleconsole, and I'm done. Or I can close the window because it's just a terminal. But it's just so nice.
Yeah,
it's really, really nice.
What I gravitate towards here is more and more things like this are showing up as snaps. And this is why I think I'm probably, for my 5-year bulletproof distro, going to end up on Ubuntu Derivative of some sort of derivative of Ubuntu. I don't know if it's Neon. I don't know if it's Ubuntu Mate. I don't know if it's Ubuntu proper. Right now on the XPS, I'm running Ubuntu proper. But this kind of thing, between PPAs, snaps, apps, and maybe even Flatpaks, that is a whole range, and Docker. It's a whole range of applications that are really simple, really easy to get going, and there's more and more stuff I'm seeing showing up as a snap
Seems
package.
to be picking up, yeah.
And if there's people listening to this thinking, oh, I'm on Ubuntu 14.04 and I really want to have a go with this teleconsole, well, Snapd landed in 14.04 like yesterday.
Oh wow, really?
So
I did not know that.
Yeah, so if you
with isolation.
Yep.
Really?
So if you apt-get install Snapd on 14.04, you'll get Snapd and the confinement bits and pieces and an uplifting kernel to kernel 4.4, and then you can snap install to your heart's content as well.
Oh man, what is toilet? What is toilet?
It's like Figlet. Figlet was like a font thing that lets you put big banner text, and toilet is just similar.
Yes,
I don't know why, but it's great.
So not only can I remotely control Popey's machine, but he
can now control the stream.
So this is great. Like you can have two people can have a text editor open at the same file.
Sure.
Two people can cooperate on the same thing.
Yeah.
It's just amazing. I love it.
Maybe this is what we do tomorrow. Now our plans have been scuppered. We use this.
Yeah, we can work together remotely via a session via teleconsole. It's great.
Yeah, really, it is perfect for support. It is perfect for collaboration, and it feels. So when we covered this on Sunday, I got the typical, well, this is just the perfect way to get hacked type responses, and I understand where people are coming from. But one of the things I like about teleconsole as opposed to giving somebody straight SSH access to your machine is it's session ID based and you can revoke sessions. So you actually, in some regards, have more control over who has access to your machine using teleconsole. And because you can watch them, you literally have more oversight.
I will say then that goes back. I think we talked about it briefly on the show a while ago. The backing technology, it's basically a demo for Gravitational's Teleport, which is their own SSH daemon implementation. And so if you're using one of our fine sponsors and you have your own infrastructure where maybe you want this kind of auditability or control or seamless access for devs who aren't as Linux friendly, you can use Teleport or things like this to get similar functionality in your own infrastructure.
Slick, Wes. Okay, that makes sense. That's a great way to do it too.
And that's the next step. Is I've taught the guys how to do a snap for teleconsole. The next step is that they're going to make a snap out of Teleport, so that you could have your own on-premises Teleport or in a DigitalOcean droplet.
I really like, Popey, how simple the YAML file is. So the YAML file describes to Snap what it should do. It's like the instruction file, and it is ridiculously simple when something is a tar file that is essentially statically linked or doesn't have a lot of dependencies.
Right.
But you could, if you wanted to, in this YAML file, couldn't you even pull crap off of like an FTP site to install?
Right. You can pull from anywhere, and there are way more complicated. I mean, this is one of the more simple ones. If you actually type Snapcraft in that window right now, it will build the snap. It will just open the YAML file and create the snap straight away. Oh, hello. Oh, you haven't got it installed. Well, you got to install Snapcraft.
Well, let me install some software on your computer really quick here remotely.
That's what computers are for.
Yeah, this feels good. I like installing software on other people's computers.
So, yes, you're right. And some of the more complicated snaps are pulling in libraries from here and there or building something from source, and it can get a lot more complicated. It was quite beneficial that when I saw this last week, I looked at it and thought, well, that's a Go binary. It's a single binary that implements the entire solution as one thing. And oh, hello, what's going on there? Oh man,
yeah,
that's broken.
Yeah.
Well, okay. You would normally just type Snapcraft and it will build it.
So Ryan, you have had you have installed a several or a few or some snaps on your system?
Yeah, I've been trying to install via Snap first before I install via any other method, and I thought I would have a really bad time just because it's still growing and and things are changing.
Yeah,
but
sure.
Generally, I've had a good experience. In fact, so good that I've been working on a game with somebody else in the System 76 community, and it's called Code Breakers. You can snap install Code Breakers right now, and we snapped that up, and it was a lot of fun, and it works really well.
Cool. I didn't even realize I was actively using snaps until this morning when I did a mount command and saw I had 3 snaps mounted. And I realized, oh yeah, I have
Yes,
3.
I've noticed that as well.
I have 3 snap apps installed on my machine upstairs, and I didn't even, once you get them loaded up and
yeah,
set,
then they're on your path, and it works fine.
Yeah, it just totally works fine.
They also update as part of like the normal update procedure, which I guess I didn't really realize.
Oh, they do.
And so, yeah, I mean, like as part of the update, it must run the snap command. But there's been times when somebody has been like, "Oh yeah, go ahead and update this package, and you'll have the new sweetness." And I go to update, and it's like everything's up to date, and I'm like, "Well, I didn't run snap refresh," but apparently, and somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but I've always had just through running normal updates, always had the up-to-date snaps.
Interesting. I have not. I don't think I've ran any snap. I have not ran a single snap command on my workstation upstairs since I installed them. So I should look at that on Arch because I don't know what the situation is on Arch. Yeah, I installed them a while ago and I think I forgot about them. And I don't want that to be what happens with those types of applications because that's a recipe for disaster. So I should try
walk the walk, Chris.
I know.
The walk.
I know. I forgot.
Yeah,
I
totally.
honestly forgot I did it, and I'm so used to my package manager installing everything else.
Exactly.
I didn't even think about it. But they've been running great. So there's that. So teleconsole combined with Snap, combined with that GitHub thing is a pretty powerful.
The future.
And I really think I at least am feeling inclined to use a distribution that supports snaps, but I'm kind of feeling inclined to use an Ubuntu-based distro with Flatpak snaps, PPAs, app files. They're just in the general repo. I mean, like all that stuff is just really appealing to me.
Mm-hmm.
What are you working on? Jeez, Poppy.
Sorry, I just fixed that in the background while you were
Yeah,
talking.
you did. I looked down at my screen. Yay! Okay, cool. Look at that. See, that's what's so great about this. Right there. Boom. You just have Poppy fix things for you.
Next time you have a problem, boom, fire up teleconsole.
Yeah. Now Poppy's Twitter feed will be filled with Poppy, help me. That is really neat. And I noticed too that they have an EU specific server for teleconsole. eu.teleconsole.com. Well, anything else, Poppy, you want to touch on before we move on?
No, if you want some fun that's not command line stuff, I also pushed a game to the Snap store called Oh My Giraffe. So if you snap install Oh My Giraffe, then it's not something I've written. It's another guy wrote, and I offered to snap it for him and put it in the store. And it's a fun game. So yeah, Oh My Giraffe, snap install Oh My Giraffe. It's great.
Before the show, I tried to figure out how I would install teleconsole as a snap. Is there a website the audience should go to find a list of the latest snapped up applications?
So the goal really is for us to once an upstream has got something snapped and it's in the store, is to update their documentation basically, so that rather than it say go and get this source and build this source or add this PPA, it just says snap install foo, right? Because that's the easiest way to do it. So once the upstream for teleconsole has taken over ownership of this and it's not mine, we'll get them to update their documentation so that it says snap install teleconsole blah blah blah.
I should have just used the snap command to search for teleconsole instead of searching the web too. That would have, I don't know what I was thinking. I was being a noob. I was being a snap noob. That's what the
Work
problem
on
is.
it.
I know. I got to get my S together.
Next week, you better snap install something live on the show. Prove that you know how.
Okay, you better remind me because I'll forget.
About snaps, about everything.
All right, well, that's pretty cool. I love it. So thanks, Poppy, for at least dedicating a machine, sacrificing a machine.
Let Chris...
Yeah, I'm going to burn it with fire now.
It's clearly broken now.
Yeah, it never again should be trusted. All right, well... We have to get out of here because, as is a thing now, Mr. Wes has an upcoming episode of TechSnap. Woohoo! That's right. And so we can't just slack. We gotta be like a serious production here and make room
It's new to us. We're working on it.
For the new TextNet program, which is live on Tuesdays. In fact, all our shows are live. You can find their times at jupiterbroadcasting.com/calendar. You can leave us your feedback at linuxactionshow.reddit.com, a comment wherever you watch this, or go to jupiterbroadcasting.com/contact and send us in your feedback. We'd love to have you join us live next week at jblive.tv. Hang out in our virtual lug. There's always more, so catch the whole live experience. And we'll see you right back here next Tuesday.
I've never installed GNU/Linux.
You know what's been weird, Wes, is I've been trying this bulletproof Linux at the same time that a lot of folks are blogging about switching from Mac OS to Linux.
Yeah.
And so it's been interesting to watch
what they reach out for.
Yeah. And I've been following BitCannon, which is, by the way, hashtag this guy. At first I was like, is this Wes? Because his hashtag on Twitter is Wes on Linux.
Wow.
Yeah. So BitCannon, a.k.a. Wes on Linux, he just posted another part 2 yesterday of switching from Mac OS to Linux. And it is a really good post. I debated reading it in the show. I just didn't want to rehash the same ground over and frickin' over again. But long story short, he settles on elementary OS because of how it looks, how it works, finds a bunch of cracks and rough edges as time goes on, ends up back on Arch. This is a Mac OS user. Ends up back on Arch and installing the Budgie desktop.
Heyo.
Which is pretty much exactly where I'm at right now.
Yes, it is. Wow.
Which is really interesting. They tried GNOME 3, and then he went to Budgie. I don't know. He went with the Arc theme and the Arc icons too, which is my exact setup.
That is, wow.
Anyways, it's fascinating post. Bitcannon.net if you want to read the rest of it.
I like this blog. It's good.
Yeah, it has been really good to read this because as somebody who is consistently thinking about this stuff, I love kind of running through the kind of path, going down this, trying to read the same path that these people followed. How did they end up here?
The context they were living in and how they're adapting.
Yeah. Why is he using Geary? Why is he using NeoVim? Why is he using Firefox? What was the thought process that led there? What is his opinion of files? All that stuff. Really good. Super good post. Bitcannon.net if you want to read that. Almost made it into the show. JBTitles.com.
Only because if we put one more Mac OS X link, everyone will kill us.
I have to stop talking about it at some point, but I love it. It's finally it's happening. Death by download. What's that a reference to? That's good. What's that a reference to?
The Android store, I believe.
Oh yeah, okay.
Oh yeah, right. Bricking the thing. Yep. Beam me up, Popey. Software license to kill. That's clever.
That is clever. Yeah.
I like James Bond references. Black phone hits the bricks. Plasma heats up winter. These are good ones.
You guys are on fire.
Yeah. Needs more wimpy. That's what the red pepper says. Needs more wimpy. You hear that playing?
Wimpy's been typing furiously this evening.
Really? Well, good for you.
Black phone kill switch.
Oh, Rakai, you just gotta embrace the default. That's my path to happiness.
Just use Breeze Dark. That's all you really need.
You got to. You have to, and then you have to be willing to just accept. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. There are aspects of Breeze Dark that don't hold up. You have a full. So you take the system settings window, and and you go to one of the settings that doesn't have a lot going on, and then you maximize that. You will see gradient bars in the dark theme.
Oh.
I am a picky son of a bitch, so I am letting some stuff slide, but only because with every iterative release they have improved stuff, and I just feel like if I just hang there,
tight, it'll get better.
Yeah. It doesn't, it doesn't look worse than Breeze Lite.
Do you have it on a very large resolution screen? Because I'm on 1080p.
It's a 2K Asus screen, which I think is the perfect resolution for Linux.
I think 2K, not 4K, not
4K,
1080p, but 2K is perfect for Linux. Everything looks great. Everything scales
level of
fine.
the scale is fine.
You can fit a ton of shit on your screen, but it's not where there's like the little issues. Like, where's that XPS? So this XPS 13 out of the box has high DPI support turned on. However, in the installer, the what do you call the top bar in Unity? What do you call that? What do you call this top bar in Unity where all your menus hide?
Panel.
The global panel, the panel. So on the XPS 13, when you boot it up for the first time, the panel's doubled. There's essentially, it looks like two panels, but what it really is the background graphic for the panel is just repeated twice. It's shitty.
We fixed that.
Yeah.
We fixed that. System 76 fixed that.
I was going to say, is Ryan there?
And then do you see those lines at the bottom of the screen?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Also
weird.
only shows up under their implementation of high DPI.
Yeah, we totally fixed that too.
Yeah, it doesn't bother. That doesn't bother. I mean, actually, that does bother me. That right there, those lines right there.
Now that I've seen it,
only Wes can really see it. Probably right. I don't think there's no way.
Yeah.
No, but they're there. So there's definitely little issues.
So Ryan, I'm going to say something, and then you can carry on. Okay. So Chris, fixes to those problems you've just described landed today.
Really?
Now,
Whoa.
Ryan, over to you.
Yeah, so we fixed those problems. Actually, David and our new kernel engineer worked on that, and Cassidy. That was a high DPI fixes that we blogged. The fixes that we blogged about here recently, they bugged the hell out of us too. So we went ahead and did something about it, and those should be in the ISO in 1604.2.
Brilliant. Nice, very nice. Because
that's awesome.
It's just it is getting down to some rough edges now, but they're rough edges where you're like, well, that doesn't look right.
Yeah.
Yeah, every once in a while we go ahead and fix Dell's problems.
It's funny how like the closer you get to perfection, the more those little things stand out.
It's the last 10%. It always is the last 10%. Yep. Yeah. Death by download is currently rocking. I like that. I really like Death by Download. That's actually pretty good. And the software license to kill is appropriately coming at number 2. I think we should go with the Death by Download, though.
Yeah, I agree.
TechMav.
I like it.
When's the last time TechMav got a title, too? I feel like TechMav has earned a title.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, TechMav.
A few weeks ago, I believe.
Yeah, it's been a little bit. But TechMav is not, never had, it's not that TechMav is like a non-shower, but it's been a little while, and there's been some solid contributions, so I think we'll go with Death by Download for 182.
Don't buy a black phone on eBay.
Yeah, don't get a black. Yeah, message. Yeah, that's the lesson learned today: is don't ever buy. Just don't buy a black phone off eBay. You can get it directly, but just don't get it off eBay.
So, Chris, I'm System 76 is going to be at Linux Fest Northwest.
Yeah, like in a okay. All right, hold on. I'm gonna hold on. Don't say anything. Wait, Ryan. I gotta put my headphones back on.
Keep it cold. Keep it
I don't
cool.
have my headphones on.
He's not ready. He's turning things on. Studio magic. He's very slow though, so you got to be patient.
It feels like it takes forever, doesn't it?
Yep. All right.
All right. So now, are you talking like you're gonna? Well, hold on. Emma and a few other folks were there. So are you gonna do a booth? Is this what we're talking? Are we having a booth at Linux Fest Northwest?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's one of our conferences where we'll have a booth present.
That's good. I feel like anytime a conference starts getting around 1,500 to 2,000 participants, that's probably a good time to start getting serious. And Linux Fest has been there for a little bit, so.
Yeah, it's also a favorite of the people who have been there. They lobbied for that this year.
That's cool. Awesome. Wow. I feel like I'm super biased, so don't take my word for it, but it's definitely one of my favorites. Partially because the folks there are really great, but also the facilities are really nice. So we get like good, solid Ethernet connection. It's just really, there's like a lot of little things that are really nice for us.
They know what they're doing now.
I'm planning to have Lady Jupes parked in the parking lot again at the college, which is awesome. So are you going to make it, Ryan?
Yeah, I'll absolutely be there.
Cool.
In fact, I have the wonderful job of being the guy who goes to every single conference that we go to.
Well, I think Linux Fest Northwest will be like no other conference you go to, just
We'll make
simply
sure of
because
that.
Lady Jupes is going to be in the parking lot.
So I will have a laptop there with me that I'm going to show you.
What?
That was very hinty.
That was very hinty.
I feel like that was very hinty. Like I should be picking up on something he's laying down, but I'm just excited. I'm not picking up, but I'm excited.
It's a
either
MacBook. Don't worry.
Now we just got to convince Popey to make it to Linux Fest Northwest, right?
Popey, are you going to be at scale?
No,
sadly not. I'm MWC.
No, yeah. Of course. Even though
I mean, I'm super excited to be at MWC.
That can't be too bad. That's got to be an interesting one to go to, right?
Yeah, it will be.
So
it's not scale.
Sergio's going to be at scale though.
So
Sergio is the lead developer of Snapcraft.
Yeah, the tool that you didn't run in my VPS.
But yes.
Who all is going to be at scale from over there? It's a lot of people who I met last year from Canonical are not going to be there. So I'm curious.
Yeah, it's unfortunate the overlap between
timing?
Scale, Ubicon Scale, and MWC, and we have a ton of people. There's 100+ going to MWC.
Wow!
So it's unfortunate.
Mobile World Congress.
Well, I'll have to give all my beers to somebody else who does show up.
I like beer.
So, are you going to be there though?
No, I mean, I'm like 20% going, but like no, probably not. Just because Noah's going though. Noah's going. So I don't know. I'm still on the fence, but I'm like only 20% going right now.
Do not miss Carl's keynote. Do not miss it.
That's right.
Miss his
Well,
keynote.
here's the thing though. Here's the thing is it's really bad timing. Like they moved it. It's just the worst. It's just the worst.
Listen, I'm excited to see his keynote, and I know what he's going to say.
Okay.
I just want to be present. So if I'm that excited, like everyone who can make it should
I think
make
at this point, if I'm going, I'm going to fly in probably. Just to make it in, make it out.
Not a whole big trip.
Yeah, I might do that. I just going to totally depend on timing. I got to figure a few things out. Popey should totally make it for Linux Fest, though.
Yes, that would be amazing.
I'd love to. I've never been there before, and I hear it's great.
It is great. Bellingham is great.
Bellingham is wonderful.
Washington is probably one of the top 5 states. So if you're going to visit the states and you've really primarily...
Visit it now before it gets worse.
If you've mostly been to California, I implore you to come because the United States is better than what California represents.
Actually,
so far I've been to Texas, Florida, New York, San Francisco, Washington, the other one, and I think that's it. So yeah, Portland as well. So I need to go to Bellingham. Clearly, that surpasses all the others.
Washington is by far the most beautiful state that I've been to.
It is. It's super.
It is.
Yeah.
Although
Colorado is pretty great.
Colorado
too.
is a good. Yep.
Colorado is pretty great. Like Washington and Colorado are like high on my list.
Yeah.
Y'all have never been to Alabama.
Yeah, you're right.
Hey, Chris.
Yeah.
About Washington and Colorado being high on your list. I get the joke.
No, but maybe that's it. Maybe there's a correlation there. But it really it's about like in Washington you can have desert conditions, you can have rainforest conditions, you can have mountain conditions, you have beaches.
Yep.
Yeah, it's so great.
So Chris,
Alabama has all that too.
You won't believe the drone shot I think I
Except
got
for the
this
desert
morning.
part.
Oh.
I have not seen it yet, but it's kind of a Washington beautiful drone shot, like a unique to Washington
You've
shot.
been stepping up your drone.
If
game, by
the next vlog, if it all works out, should have this shot in it, and it's so great. It's such a Washington beautiful shot.
So Chris, when I went there the first time, I was going to Wenatchee from Seattle.
Oh yeah.
And I rented a car, and so I was driving through the mountains, and they were doing construction or some type of road construction, and so there was just a line of cars just stopped for about an hour.
Yeah.
While they did that, but I would be super pissed about that, but we were stopped at such a beautiful place. I actually just got out and walked around and took pictures and just generally had a good time. So
Yeah.
it is a fantastic state. So I say all that to say, Popey, get your ass a plane ticket, fly yourself out to Linux Fest Northwest, and join us for the shenanigans.
Yeah, it'll be good. It'll be
This
good.
is the best Linux Fest peer pressure I've seen in a long time.
All right, so speaking of peer pressure, I think we'll go with Death by Download, and we better get out of here because we got a tech snap coming up. In moments, Dan's probably wondering where the hell we are, so thank you guys.
Thank you, everyone.
It was great. It was good to chat with all of you.
It was fun.
I hope to see all of you again for next Tuesday.
Yes, please come back.
Now, I don't think so. Here's what's coming up. So, for those of you that are sticking around, we'll have TechSnap almost immediately after this. Tomorrow on the live stream, I think BSD Now is. Yeah, I think BSD Now is already recorded for next week, but we will have a killer Unfiltered tomorrow.
Oh, I bet. How could you not? How could you not?
It's gonna be nuts. I already have so many great clips, so many that I haven't even gone through today's batch. So tomorrow on the live stream we'll have the Unfiltered show. But yeah, that's it for today. Thank you everybody for being here. I love you, Mama Room. And if you're sticking around, get ready for more Wes in your face. Bye, guys. In chat room, if you will allow a brief interruption in services, there will be a moment where we'll flip over to the standby screen and then we'll load the TechSnap profile. You don't have to do anything. You don't even have to reload your stream. We will take care of all of the programming. Do not adjust your television set. We will be starting Linux Unplugged, or we will be starting TechSnap soon. However, I have to end. This is sort of the bummer part for you, those of you on the YouTubes. I have to end the YouTube stream for a few moments so that way we can cut ourselves a TechSnap stream. So if you're on YouTube,
we're sorry.
Give us a couple of minutes. The stream should start back up. Yeah. But if you're watching at jblive.tv, you'll just see the standby screen, and then we'll be back with TechSnap in just a few moments. Stand by. You might hear a little silence in the meantime, but we'll be right back in just, get it this, Wes, a snap. Whoa!